how to set up this quilt frame properly. Because every time I do it, it's a different project. Like Briar's was really thick. This, just the top, is supposed to be on the back rail. This, just the top, is supposed to be on the back rail. Well, where am I going here? There we go. Okay, now let me just check something. Stop friggin' going. I think I have more than one of these open. I do. Here we go. Hang on. There we go. Okay, now. Did you guys get ads? Let me know, because I think I forgot to turn the monetization on. Did you guys get ads? You got ads, Linda? Okay, good. All right. Thank you. Now, this, I messed this up when I did Briar's, right? Just the top is supposed to go on the back reel, and the batting and the backing go on this one. So that it is, the top is pulled tight over this, over the backing, the batting. I messed it up, but we're going to roll with it because I don't have the energy to redo this all over again, right? Like to redo this. So today we are working on the Band of Brothers quilt. And I'm on the second row. So let me just get things organized here a little bit now that I'm on. Okay. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing? Okay. Oh, by the way, can you see Arthur's over there? Howie saw that and said, who's this for? And, oh no, he said, that's a nice quilt. He said, it's very manly. I said, it's for Arthur. And he sounded very disappointed. But here's the deal. On Tuesday, I'm going to I'm going for a consultation with a denturist. And I'd never thought to look on Marketplace for wool fabric. And you'll never guess what I found. For $80, I'm getting, I think it's 5 meters. No, 5.5 meters. 3 of it is in red, and 2.5, no, 2.5 is in red and 3 is in purple, somewhere around there. And see what's going on here? This is too low. This is, but I've got it so that I can work with it. So we'll just do the best we can with what we have right now, because I do not have the time or the energy. See, I do not knot my thread, folks. I just run the first stitch through a couple of times. Howie's out hunting. Anyway, so on Tuesday, we're going to the denturist in Ottawa, and that's where this lady is who's selling the fabric. So I made a deal with her. She said, are you sure? She said, because I don't want to, save this for you and then have you not come and pick it up. I said, and I told her, I got right chatty with her, and I sent her my last video that I was working on Arthur's quilt, my last live stream, I said, this is me. I said, you know, if it, she said, that's you? I said, yes, I'm going to be coming into town. And I explained to her and I said, and I need that fabric because I want to make Howie one. But red and purple, but I need some black wool fabric. I need black, gray, like solid colors, black, gray, brown, or blue, you know, so that I can work on Howie's. I might use the red as the contrast color for Howie's. And then I'll just use the other ones, the plaids, to go with it. We'll see. And if you're new here, this is the Band of Brothers quilt for my nephew, Mikey. I hate it when I get a thread that loops and doesn't pull. There we go, all the way through. Here's hoping Howie gets a deer. Is nobody talking? Hang on a second. Okay. Hey. Hey, Jessica, Freaky Geek, Tina, Linda. You got to chat if I'm going to shout out your name, because I can't do a shout out while I'm working here. So I have to shout it out as I see you come in. Hi, Audrey. Brought in a bumper crop of jalapeno. Got to get them in the freezer before we get ready for the Historical Society's murder mystery night. Is that like a thing you go to and you do like a whodunit and you act it out, or is that something you see on TV? Hey, Creation. Hi, Kimmy. You know, I may have to establish this on the quilt frame. We will see. Hang on. This is not going to be the best quilting job ever. But there's also the fact that I want to make sure Mikey uses this quilt. It's, you know, I call them ambassadors of hugs for reasons, right? Okay. These stitches aren't really fine and tight as they normally would be, but this is kind of like a cross between quilting and tying because the stitches are bigger. I need a haircut, folks. I need somebody my hair is falling out. And I need somebody to cut a good 8 inches to 10 inches. You're brushing your dog. Hey, Celeste. I'm hoping that Howie being gone this long means he's getting some activity on the hunting field. Now, oops. And my phone, ever since I set it to factory reset, every time at least once a day, I have to fight with it to get the voice type to work. Yeah, my hands don't like working this fine stuff anymore. I can barely grip the needle. But I'm getting there. Howie will probably get his quilt for his birthday, which is in March. But we'll see. I'm going to get this looped if I'm not careful. Hey, Renita. Hi, Sandra. I just want, the length cut off to my shoulders with a bit of a sculpted edge at the bottom, like rounded. And I need a proper bang cut. Maybe on Tuesday when I go into Ottawa, I'll get mine cut. Go to Joe's barber shop. Haven't been there in years. I haven't had my hair cut professionally since before COVID. Tweedly-dee, tweedly-dee. Give it up, give it up, give your love to me. Well, the thing you can do is you can get a pair of needle nose pliers, and you know that shrink stuff that you just put a wire in each end and pinch it, or there's a kind you can put a wire in each end and then heat it and it melts it into place. You can put those on the tip of needle nose pliers, but it's not pulling the, it's only when I'm tying the quilt, eh? There we go. Got my running stitch going here. Oh, I was not feeling well. I slept, guys. What was last night? Friday? First night this week where I actually got 4 hours, woke up and got another 4 hours, woke up and got another 2. So I actually slept, having wild dreams. I dreamt I met Dick Van Dyke, and I wanted to tell him that he was one of the most wonderful people that I had ever seen on TV. Someone that you just knew was a good person. You know what I mean? I mean, he was a real people's person. And he thanked me for that. Oh, the sun's out. Yeah, what little snow we got, that wet stuff, it melted. But I mean, it did snow. You know what I mean? Where are you going, Freaky Geek? Oh, Dave! You're going to Washington? Aren't you in Tennessee right now, or are you back in Florida? This is why I'm quilting so much, guys, because my hands just don't want to do it anymore. And there's so many quilts I have to finish. Get through there. Get through there. There we go. Right up into the corner. And then down this one. And then I will go down and then back up over here. Oh. Hey, you've already gone crazy, eh? That was your big trip? I'm back in Florida. Been to Washington twice this month. Got lucky with 3 layovers in Washington this month. Might pick up a 4th for extra hours. I haven't flown. Um, I don't think I have flown since we went to Egypt, and my God, 13 years ago. This one doesn't need a line on it because I can line up each square at the corner. Hey, Kelly, 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 watch, 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 Kelly, come, Kelly, Cal. Hey, jama, jama, party. I don't even know the words. We used to, it was a car song when we were kids. Sitting Bull was her father. Then one night when the moon was bright, she called out, "Hi, O Arthur." Oompa, 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 oompa. Am I going to make it? Just. Okay. What is going on? This keeps wanting to tip. Yeah, already a bit better. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can see. Yeah, Howie, I got Howie to, steaks were on sale and I had a little bit of money left in the bank. So I had Howie pick up 4 steaks, some sour cream, and a Caesar salad mix. Oh my God. The romaine lettuce, it was one of those boxes where they put the package of the sauce and the croutons and the cheese on the top, and it just shows a little bit of lettuce. And when I took it off, the lettuce had been cut by a metal blade. And it was red, not brown, red. I had to throw out half the lettuce. I'm blaming it for my stomach issues today. I didn't even eat it. I can't chew lettuce right now, so I have to have bulky vegetables like carrots and stuff. Yeah, the snow started yesterday, but not today. It's melted. I'm hoping that tomorrow Howie and I can get the decorating finished. Or depending, I think he's hiding from it. He's out hunting. Not true. He is out hunting. I just want to, you know, I hope he gets a deer. I really do. Because that would just top our freezer for the winter. Because we got so much chicken and pork and ground beef now. There we go. It made it. And I just got to do a couple of little through stitches to end it. And then back up this way. I don't just double the last stitch. I actually sew back up into the line so that even if it does pull through, it's only going to pull through as far as the where I have double knotted it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got to get some more white thread. I'm sure I've got some around, but I've been using blue on my sewing machine so that I could save the white for this. Hey, Simply. How's it going? Where did I stick the needle, folks? Oh, there it is. Should always pay attention to where I stick that needle. There we go. Back over here. Come on, tighten up just a little bit there. You getting comfy in Mommy's chair, Gracie? Now it's that time of day she starts sitting in my chair so she can watch for Daddy to come home. I got butter chicken in the crock pot. I need peppers. I need to get some peppers for freezing. I have a big onion chopped up, 2 chicken breasts, and some celery, and then I just covered it in VH butter chicken sauce. And it's cooking slow in the crock pot, of course. My favorite kitchen tool. Crock pots and KitchenAids. Crock pots and KitchenAids. So yeah, I'm going to pick up some more wool fabric. So I'm not touching Arthur's until I have a look at it. I might actually bind his in the purple because it's the same shade of purple as that coat I bought. Hey, Candy, how are you, darling? Well, I don't really chop them fine. I chunk them because, sometimes we want to give Gracie a little bite of something and we don't want her getting a chunk of onion, a piece of onion. So we make sure we chunk it. I've turned the heat off of the baseboard behind me because, this is not going to be as pretty as I liked. It's going to be not as tight as I liked because of the way I've laid it out on this quilt frame. But we'll get there. Well, somebody knows how to get rid of the crowns. So I don't know how to do that. So somebody in the chat will tell you how to get rid of those crowns if you don't like them. I'll be working on this most of the day to get as much done as I can. And now we're going to go up here. Like so. If I could place time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is save every day till eternity passes, and then I would spend it with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things that we want to do. Oh, ow, I just stuck my finger. I looked around enough to know you're the one that I want to go through time with. One and two making you think of the loo. Chin chin. Cheerio, pip pip. Oh, it must be the tea. Gives me an accent. It's my Yorkshire Gold. Love my Yorkshire Gold. I'm not going to have enough to get down here. Maybe not. Maybe. So please, folks, if you're new here, do not judge my quilting skills by Arthur's quilt or by this one. These are makeover quilts. These were makeover projects that were taken apart from one quilt and then remade into another one because they were so tattered and worn over from years of loving use. When Mikey gets this, he'll get a letter saying, "I'm sorry, baby. You better use this quilt because it's the last one you're ever going to get from me. I've got too many quilt projects to finish." Hi, Journey. How's it going? I'm doing okay. I had a bit of an upset tummy last night, so I took some Gravol. But I have to be careful. Gravol in Canada is an anti-nauseant, and it actually makes you dopey. But I can only take one because gives me restless legs if I take it too often. So I save it for only when my tummy's upset. And it was pretty upset last night. I wonder if Papa got a deer. God, it would be lovely if he got a deer this weekend. He hasn't been able to go out with the bow or anything, so he's hunting with the rifle today. Hobby Lobby for Christmas ribbon tomorrow. I don't know if it's for bows or if I bet you it's for decorating. We don't really decorate anything except the outside. And then we don't turn the lights on until after November 11th because that's Remembrance Day. We only leave our green porch light on because that's a green porch light symbolizes support for veterans. So I always have a yellow one out front and a green one by the apricot tree. Yes, you're thinking, yes, I am Howie's dear. He calls me dear every day. However, dear and sweetheart, he rarely uses my name. When he uses my name, it's because he's pissed at me. Especially when it comes out Beverly. Okay, I think I'm going to get a row or two done today. I think I'm going to, when I get off here, I'm going to put a movie on. Hello from sunny, breezy NM. Where is that? Quilt is looking great. Making a bunch for grands. Blueberry pancake and scrambled eggs. Guys are hunting last week. And the Gila is for I like moose. But here, you got to have 3 people on a moose tag. And we don't know enough people to go actually to find someone we know well enough to go hunting with. But moose meat is my favorite. And moose are huge. If I hit a moose with my truck, it would cave in the entire front end and crush the driver. You know, they are huge creatures. But their meat tastes as close to the beef did when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think I'm going to save the red fabric, the red wool fabric, and use the plaids that I have, the brown plaid, the blue plaid, and the burgundy plaid. They all have red in them. So if I make a style like Arthur's for Howie, because he said it's a very manly looking quilt. I said, well, thank you, dear. He said, is it for me? No, it's for Arthur. Damn, he says. So we'll see how fast I can get things done. There you go. Back through one more time to cut it. You guys keeping me company. Whoops. Uh-oh. I'm moving my... Here we go. Let's get you guys just a little bit closer here. Okay. Okay, you can see. Okay. Tina Elliott, every time Bev has an idea, her light turns on. Yeah, it's true. If you were watching me, if I was on a live stream and we were talking and I would say, I bet you because of the purple in that quilt, or I go, I should look on Marketplace for wool. Ping, and my light bulb got Freaky Geek sees it, but you can't see it when I'm not on camera. Whoops, shoot. Okay, let's do it. Let's do this. Okay. Here we go. All right. Oh God, where did I put my pen? There it is. Okay, it's right there. Looked around enough to know that you're the one that I want to go through time with. Music that meant stuff, you know? Not this hot, wet stuff. All righty. There you go. See? You have a green light on for your daughter. God love you. A lot of veterans in my family that have passed. And on Monday, it will have been 25 years since my father passed away. And what makes me crazy is that it still feels like my dad's alive. And that's because he is. Energy does not end. It just transmorgifies or whatever. It just changes into another form of energy. Oh, frig. Did you see that pin pop right out of my hand? Angie's here. Hey, Angie, where are you? How's it going? I miss you so much, Angie. Partially frozen hamburger in the oven to cook. Oh, are you canning it? Wrench-wielding Angela Passmore. I was thinking of you earlier today, Angie. Oh, my goodness. When are you and Ken going to come up for a visit? Like for more than 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Although it was lovely to see you, Angie. Does anybody remember what this quilt is called? The theme for this quilt. Band of Brothers. Thank you, Linda. I should always, when I ask a question, I should say, Linda, don't answer, because you are always here and you always know the answers. But thank you. Yes, this is called the Band of Brothers because this was Mikey's quilt that I made him when he was in his late teens, early 20s, and it fell apart. Mikey is, let me think now. Mikey's easily 40, I believe he's 45 now. And this is from the original quilt. This is from his brother's wedding quilt. This is from his wedding quilt. The blueberry fabric is on one of Arthur's quilts, and it was bought originally for his eldest brother's wedding quilt a long time ago. And this burgundy here is from the shirt that Briar bought to wear to Mikey and Andrew's wedding. Mikey's wedding and then Andrew's wedding. No, Andrew's was first. Andrew's wedding and then Mikey's. There we go. There we go. "94 years old. Yeah, Jolie, I miss my dad. My dad was a font of wisdom. I mean, he told me about scanning and barcodes. Okay, what's 14 minus 62? Somebody else do the math for me, but my brain's tired. I'm 61, and my dad told me when I was 14 about barcodes and scanners that you wouldn't have to, because I was working later on. I worked at Zeller's and I was punching numbers in for every item I put in, an 8-digit number. Every item that went through cash had an 8-digit number that we had to punch in. And my dad told me about them. I said, get out of here. And he showed me the barcode on a can of peas. And he said, that one day we'll have an infrared, you'll have an infrared scanner and you just pass it over it and it'll bring up the price. I said, you're full of crap. My dad knew so much. He said, he laughed at me because he was a huge believer in, he was fascinated by science, and he would read, Isaac Asimov and get all these science magazines and futuristic science magazines. And he told me then about refrigerators that would eventually tell you when you ran out of stuff and put it on your list. That is happening today. Some, 48 years later. Thank you, Candy. 48 years later, He's laughing now. I can almost hear him saying, see, told you. And I often hear people say, oh, your parents are looking down in heaven and they're proud of you and they're sad, or, they'd be sad if they thought, no, they wouldn't. Because guess what? Once you're out in the ether, the only feeling, if you believe in heaven, okay, that's just a name. And I wish people would get over the concept that as it is in the above, it is below, and that the earth is the end all be all, because it's just a tiny speck of dust in the great cosmos, okay? Heaven is where your energy goes, right? And there is no sadness. There is no pain. There is only joy and wonder. So if someone ever tells you your father would be ashamed of you, blah, 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 never, never. You know why? Because they have all the answers when they pass. They get all the answers. And guess what? They just wait for us to show up, because then we'll have all the conversations. But they just smile and nod and go, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out, right? Have I ever done hand quilting in circles? No. I did a fan quilt once. See, I've forgotten half the fans or half the quilts I've made. I made a fan quilt for my niece, Tara, out in Nova Scotia. And the closest I came to circles was stitching that fan. It was horrible. I hate sewing in circles. It's kind of like having one foot screwed to the floor. Can you imagine all the missed out turbines with all the bodies turning in the graves? I'm not sure I get that. Can you elaborate on that or elucidate on that, please, Freaky Geek? No, me either. Smart appliances, like the closest I come to smart appliances is my television set, and I do not have voice activation on anything in my home. But I'm having a hard time keeping the microphone on my typing keyboard on my phone. So, patrons, it is Saturday. Do you know what that means? We are going to have Sassy Saturday tonight. I almost did it last night, but I wasn't feeling well then either. Okay. God, I hope Howie's okay. I don't like him hunting alone, but he knows emergency codes. And like, if you're ever out in the bush alone and you break your leg and you're hunting, fire your rifle off. Bang, 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 and wait. And then 5 minutes later, bang, bang, bang. It's SOS, right? I have a rear view camera in camper van that has voice commands. The stupid camera is always snapping pics because of the we have a backup camera on the motorhome. Oh, shoot, I'm knocking things around here again. We have a backup camera on the motorhome, and but it is not anything like that. What am I doing? Right. Just on the solid one so I can get, I don't want a crooked line there. You know what I mean? And this washes out after you wash it. And of course, I wash all the quilts before they get, once they're done, I wash them and then pack them. I'll never forget, I made myself a quilt once, just like this. Only it was made out of, bits of flannel and stuff. And the lining in it was a green Hudson's Bay wool blanket and a flannel sheet on the back. And I sewed that thing while I was pregnant with Briar, before I got pregnant with Briar. And I would sit and watch TV and sew pieces together like I do with the Star Quilt now. And I spilled a cup of tea on it once. Just the top. I was working on the top and I was so upset. I put it in the washing machine and it frayed and came apart. And only the corners of these squares were holding together. Everything else came apart. And do you know, I cried and I put it away. And then I sat down one day in front of the TV and I restitched every seam that came apart. And when that blanket was done, it went on my bed. And then we moved to Ottawa. Well, Ottawa, Quebec. And I was driving, I think it was an 87 black Dodge Ram, along the 401. And Howie was riding behind on a motorcycle. Yes, he used to have a motorcycle. And a bag. See, I'm really funny about how trucks are packed, right? And a garbage bag fell off the truck onto the side of the 401. Now, the 401 is a 4-lane mega highway kind of thing, right? And Howie pulled up, I pulled over and Howie pulled up beside me and he said, do you want me to go back for it? I can walk back for it. And I looked in the other bag and it had my pills and everything in it. So I said, no, we got the important stuff. It can't be that important. What was in it was a quilt I had made for my dad called the Autumn Sailor, the Fall Sailor. And it was maple leaves and sailboats. And my quilt that I had to redo twice. So I've forgotten more quilts than I remember that I've made. You know what I mean? So, oh, my tummy. So I put 2 chicken breasts, thank you, Rebecca, in the crock pot. I put a little bit of oil in the bottom. And then I put in the 2 frozen chicken breasts and chunked up a big onion and a half a cup of celery, frozen celery. And then I poured this VH butter chicken sauce. Howie bought the expensive stuff. I should have been more specific and said, go to the spaghetti aisle and get the no-name stuff. But it's enough. It really is enough just for us. It's called butter chicken simmering sauce. One of my grandson's favorite things to eat, butter chicken. And then I'm going to make rice, and we're going to have it over rice tonight for supper. I love my crock pot. All righty. You know what I think I'm going to do next, folks? So I'm going to make myself a fresh cup of tea, and I'm going to put a movie on. Or Netflix or something. I'll watch, Pride and Prejudice or something. It's slightly spicy. But having it over rice cools it a bit, But my grandson, like first time I made it, Howie said, well, it's a little bit hot. I said, what do you mean? He said, spicy. I said, really? It has a bit of spice to it, but I don't find it. But then again, Briar educated me in sriracha years ago. My grandson eats it, and he's not quite 3 yet. So he, there we go. Okay, I'm going to finish this. Bring this back down through. How long have we been on here? We've been on here almost an hour, so you guys are probably bored as heck with me by now. Come on, don't do that to me. Thank you. And then once back up through the same stitches, so I don't have to knot anything. I hate knots. I don't put knots when I sew anymore. I just stitch back over the original, the last couple of stitches. Come on. Ow, my thumb. There we go. And there we go. I'm going to put this pin in the pin cushion. And I'm going to see how this is not quite as tight as it should be. But you see how this is holding this down? This part, the top only, should be on the back one. And it should be pulled up over the binding and the backing. I have it completely wrong. So when I finish this, I will remember what I told myself to do. Top, backing and batting on this one instead of, hey, Mark, how's it going? I'm keeping you company while you clean, eh? Well, now raise your hand if you don't mind staying for another 20 minutes or so. What's going on, Rosie? For my, damn, I can't scroll back very well. Oh, no, 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 no. The hell's going on with this? My mouse just went crazy. Okay, I can't. I just know that someone said you need prayers for your friend Renee, Rosie. Always, always. Okay, one hand will do. Okay, don't confuse me. Okay, all right, then I'll stay. I'll stay. Because I'm just going to sit here and quilt anyway, right? Oh no. Where did you go? Where's the end? That might be it. Right there. So don't, if you ever get one of these Grace quilting frames, don't do it the way I do it. Follow the instructions. I never get it right, and I've lost the instructions, and I do everything by trial and error. Honestly, I'm not very good with instructions. We call them destructions. But, it was a man thing. It used to be a man thing, not reading the instructions. You know what I mean? Okay, let's start here. Can you see what I'm doing? Yep. Why don't you guys just come a little bit closer. My mom and an old fat, you know what? My first quilt frame was just 4 pieces of 1x2. And I tacked it on the top and the bottom, the quilt on the top and the bottom. And then I C-clamped the frame together. The second one I designed, and it was 2 2x4s, right? But with a 1x2 in the middle, and the 1x2 was the leg was 2 2x4s with a 1x2 sandwiched in between, and the 1x2 was dropped down so that there was a notch between the 2 2x4s. And I had I had all 4 legs like that. And I would just take the back 1x2, lift it, loosen it, put it back into the legs, and take the front one and then roll it and then pop it back down. It was stationary. It didn't have rolling anything. But I designed it when we first moved to Quebec, and Howie made it for me. Come on, you. Why am I trying to pull it when I can push it? There we go. I love those little scissors, Renita. Okay, and up we go. That was a really thick corner there. And every once in a while, I will go back through behind the stitch. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, every once in a while, as I'm going through the row, I will go, see where this comes out right here? I'll go back through that stitch so that if stitching breaks from use and a lot of use and a lot of washings, this will stay held together because I go back through a stitch like about every 10 stitches or so, right? It isn't very pretty quilting, but my grandson, my nephew will just love it. But he's a very sentimental young man, my Mikey. We used to call him Mojo. Ouch. There we go. You guys see okay? I don't know why I didn't zoom in earlier. So every time I pull it through, I backstitch the last stitch. Might be easier if you were on the other side of me, but Charles' question. Hi, Claire. Oh, Gracie's fine. Gracie's wonderful. I think honestly, I think she had a twisted bowel. And I think that when we changed her over to raw and then soft canned food, we just don't give her hard treats anymore, like freeze-dried chicken, or not freeze-dried, but dried chicken or dry sweet potato slices or anything like that. It's too hard on her digestive system. And we do not give her bones at all. The only bone she has is the one she's had for 10 years. And the ends, the knuckles are chewed right off it. And when we first got it for her, she was 6 months old and she was so small she couldn't lift it. But she fought with it. So that's why she gets in the habit of, hey, my bone's in my toy box. You got to get it for me. No, Gracie, you've chewed it down and it's to the right size. Oh, he's got to take that clock downstairs or I'm going to throw it out. I'm not kidding. Sounds like it's sick. Okay. I want chimes. I'll put the batteries in my own clock. I hate it when people leave you stuff, or like, there was, the only thing I asked for was the wolf quilt, right? But okay. And now we go down this way. My hand's in the way. Okay, don't get seasick if I move things around, okay? Oh. Because my tripod here is kind of tangled up. Don't get seasick now. Okay. Whoops. Let me get this cord from behind me, my chair here. Oh, there we go. Now you'll be able to see better what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Okay, where are we? We're right here. Now you can see what my hands are doing. And then back down this one. And this is what I mean. I go back through one stitch. And that anchors your stitching. Now these stitches aren't beautiful and 10 to an inch and all that stuff, because this is the best my hands can do right now with this quilt. Again, this is a makeover quilt. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. quilts is good for thick fabric quilts like the one I'm making for Arthur. But thin ones, you really do need to hand quilt, because, or if you're going to tie them, I would put like a tie in each one of these squares and at the corners. It would take too much time because it's a lightweight quilt, right? Hey Sherry, how's it going? I'm sorry if I can't always look at the chat. I got to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing. There we go. Guys, you may end up seeing this whole row get done, because I'm working pretty fast. My nephew doesn't care about perfection. He cares about the thought and the love that goes into these projects. This is from the blueberries from his eldest brother's wedding quilt, and the black roses here are from his younger brother's wedding quilt. And again, this burgundy fabric was from Briar's shirt that we bought for Andrew's wedding, and Arthur's fabric. Arthur also has this fabric in one of his quilts. This fabric is discontinued, so whenever I use it, it's really a big deal. Now we got to go up. Move you back just a little bit. And I do this black spotted cow fabric because I had it once. It's not the same fabric, but I had this fabric once before when the kids were small, and I made Briar a Dalmatian costume for Halloween out of it. Go. Oof. And back. So I won't be doing any more work on the sewing machine until I pick up that purple fabric. Arthur's going to go, Mom, what do you got with blue and purple? I said, they're manly. Go, well, what about brown and green? Sorry, this is what I had. Besides, my maternity coat that quilt was based on was blue. Oh, I hear the raven. Hey, Paul. I can't say that too loud or Gracie thinks Daddy's home, and then she flips out. Starts barking and wants to go outside and greet him, kind of thing. See what I mean? It's not going to be perfectly flat. But we will, he'll love it. I know he will. There's just no way, I know my Mikey. He'll love it. When they got their wedding quilt, they got married in January, and they got their wedding quilt for Christmas the following year, because I couldn't finish it in time. And my sister said that when he opened it, for the rest of the day on Christmas Day, Mikey walked around with it wrapped around his shoulders like a big scarf or a comfy. He wore it all day, she said. The first thing he did was smell it, put it over his shoulders, and he wore it all day. So, come on. Get through properly. Thank you. It's hard to stop when you get a rhythm going, I bet you I'll do another row today. my tummy's upset though. It's a Grace quilt frame, yes. Hi, Sue. How are you? And this was sewn on that little pink sewing machine that everybody was calling the Hello Kitty machine. Okay. Let's get all these little, I do this as I go along. It's not as tight as a drum like it should be, but it'll be cool. Okay. Oof. There we go. Oops. Back through. What's the matter, Grace? She's pissed because it's Saturday and Daddy's not home. I want to get this one done and off the frame so I can do the border, the banding. And I'm going to try and get Arthur's on here for tying it. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, I've already decided I'm saving the red wool fabric that I'm picking up on Tuesday for Howie. And I will hide it from him. Not, you know, I'm always quilting, so he won't think twice. And if he asks me who it's for, I'll just say none of your business, and he'll know it's him. So no secrets. God, secrets are really hard to keep in this family. Well, with my husband. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm just going to make this down here. And then I got to go whoop, whoop. Hey, Shell Bell, how's it going? Hey, Sue. Okay. I hope this reaches, because I don't want to rethread it just for one corner. Ooh, it's going to be close. It's almost like I know exactly how much thread it takes to get from one part to the other. I'm just going to have to sew this back up through. Like so. See what I mean when I say I weave it? Well, you can't see. See what I mean when I say I go back through? Ouch. Like so. And then one more back through this way. And we can snip, and that is well. Oh God, come on, you can do this. go one more through. There we go. Boom. I wish that was tighter. Oh, I got to be careful or I'll knock the laptop off. Oh, come on. Oh, I just loosened it. Oh, well. There's the needle right there. Whoops. No, it's not. It's on my lap. This is not gonna. Where is the end? There we go. Uh-oh. Oh, well. How you doing, Edie? You said you had 5 holes and they were hurting. The next day should be a lot better, but sleep does help you to recover. So, okay, here we go. Oh, I made this thread a bit short. And we're going to go back down this way and then up this way. Let me pull you back just a little bit. Whoops, that's too close. Oh. Yes, he gave her 1 can. Okay. Let me just do something here. Okay, now I can zoom this just enough. I never am good with zoom. And we're going to get down here. We're going to start here. Okay. Oh, shit, Eisenheimer. All right, I'm going to go up to the corner and then back down. And that will... Gracie's huffing and sighing. And then back down through to anchor it. I can see. Oh, God, help me. Stuff falling and all over the place. Yeah, this is loose. Hang on a second. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, I should have worn my knee tapes. Let me get this over here and tighten this up a little bit more. Come on, stay. Thank you. Gosh. Oh, this is an old broken desk chair and it sits really low. But it's good for quilting. It's a little tighter now. Well, it's quiet, and Howie's not here coming in going, what's for lunch? What's for breakfast? He'll be home in time for what's the supper? What's for supper? And you'll probably be going out hunting tomorrow morning too. Look at this finger. Can you see how callous that is with finger pricks? Hey, Mom. One of my mother's lullabies just went through my head. That means my mom's close. Oh, Aunt Jane just popped in. Dad was in earlier when I was talking about the things he taught me when I was younger. I wish it was more perfect like his wedding quilt. Well, the quilts are never perfect, but when I buy fabric for a specific project, like the backing on Andrew's quilt and the backing on Mikey's wedding quilt and the blueberries in Aaron's quilt, I always try and buy enough that I have things left over for other projects. Like this. And then the fabric still has sentimental value, right? And then up we go here. I wish it was drum tight. I'm not happy with the looseness of this or how I've set it up on the frame. But I can't change it now. You know what I mean? Oh, this one here? This is cow spots and white roses on a black background. My favorite is the blueberry. My favorite is the blueberry. Always has been, because it's blues and purples. And I love a combination of blues and purples. I'm sorry if I'm not talking, folks. I get lost. I get lost in the. To me, quilting and sewing is very meditative. Memories go through my head and ideas go through my head, and I forget you guys are with me and I forget to talk. You know, like my head is already jumping ahead to trying to make a quilt for Howie for Christmas. I'm running out of time. It's already November. So, but once this is off the frame, I can sit down at the TV and do my invisible stitching with the border, and it'll get done really quick. I can do the border probably in 3 evenings sitting in front of the TV. Can you guys see? Yeah, okay. Oops. There we go. Well, folks, I'm just about at the end of this row. And I got to go check on supper. And I got to put Gracie out for a pee. So I'm going to say, I'm going to love you and leave you, as my dad would say. Come on. Ooh. I hate leaving little loops. Little loops get caught on things. There we go. Whoops. So, thanks for joining me while I work on the Band of Brothers quilt. I'm going to put Netflix on, and I'm going to put Gracie out for a pee, and I'm going to go stir dinner, and that's my live for today. I really hate that this puckers and stuff, but once it's off the frame and washed, it'll all kind of go into place. I love you guys. Take care. God bless. And remember, I thank God for you every night. When I thank God for my blessings before I sleep, count yourselves among them. I pray for your health, your safety, and your well-being. Okay? I love you guys. Take care. God bless. And thanks for keeping me company.